Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us again this evening. Again, an official apology for the glitch that we had on Monday, which is it was out of our control completely. But thank you for honoring us and coming through for this session. I'm Hussein Essof. I'm uh, head of I'm head of innovation and student experience at the Regent Business School. And one of the units that I oversee is the employability unit. I will talk to you a little bit more about that uh, towards the end of the session, but thank you to all of you for joining the session. I see one or two names that I know there. There's a Rabia Parker that's there. So hi, Rabia. I know Rabia for many years. Nice to see you online, Rabia. I've given you all access to mics, so at any time you want to interact, you've got two options. You simply pick up your hand, unmute yourself and make your input, or if you're shy, then you can just type in a message like Rabia has done now. And if this is the first webinar that you are with me, then just to let you know that we give away 3 gifts during the webinar, and it's not a BMW, so don't get all excited. But it's a nice token gift from Regent, and fortunately, I get to make the decision who the gift goes to. So yeah, so let's see how interactive and engaging we can make this session. Fatima, it's in your hands. Thank you very much. I'm going to switch my camera off, but I am watching from the back, right? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hussein. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's webinar hosted by Regent Business School. I'm delighted to have you all here for this important conversation on negotiating job offers and understanding contracts. Before we start, a personal introduction from myself. My name is Fatima Mohammed. I'm a BCom graduate. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a philanthropist, and I've also worked within the NPO sector, and I'm also a consultant. So over the years, I've had the opportunity to work closely with graduates and young professionals, helping them navigate the transition from university into the professional world. One common challenge I see very often is that many first-time job seekers accept offers without fully understanding the contract, the long-term impact of the terms, or the fact that negotiation is completely normal and professional. That's exactly why we're having this session today. By the end of this webinar, you will not only understand what to look for in a job offer and contract, but you will also gain the confidence to professionally negotiate your value, protect your rights, and make informed career decisions from day one. So just a high level agenda. We will be discussing, we will having an introduction. We will go through understanding job offers. We will have a conversation about employment contract essentials, negotiating professionally. Thereafter, we'll be finalizing the offer. We will be then closing, and then we will have a Q&A session at the end. So as we begin with the introduction, why does this topic matter? Your first job offer sets the foundation for your salary growth, career progression, and professional reputation. Many graduates sign contracts without fully understanding the terms, which can lead to being underpaid, overworked, or legally restricted later on. Negotiating is not confrontational. It is professional and expected in the working world. Knowing how to evaluate, negotiate, and protect yourselves from the start can help you make smarter career decisions and avoid long-term regrets. We're just going to go through the objective of this webinar. It is for you to understand the key components of job offers, to learn how to evaluate and negotiate professionally, and learn to read employment contracts with confidence. Let's do a quick question. You can drop it in the chat as well. How many of you would accept your first job offer immediately without asking any questions just because you are excited? So you can type it in the chat. Yes, I'd accept immediately. No, I'd want to ask some questions. Or thirdly, honestly, I don't even know what I'm supposed to ask. I'm just going to give you some few minutes to chat in. You can put it in the chat.
The screen, sorry. Just repeat those questions.
Okay, so the question is, how many of you would accept your first job offer immediately without asking any questions just because you are excited? You can type in yes, I'd accept immediately. No, I'd want to ask some questions first. Or the third one, honestly, I wouldn't know what to even ask or what I'm even supposed to ask.
Yeah, it seems a lot of shy people tonight. No winners of gifts so far. Okay, yes, the first one. Okay. Honestly, I wouldn't know what to ask. Not no. Yes, I would accept immediately. No, I wouldn't know what to ask. Looking back, I accepted my first job offer without questions asked. Brandon, maybe I can just come. Is it Brandon Langerhoven? Can I ask you just to unmute yourself quickly for 30 seconds? So looking back, I accepted my first job offer without questions asked. Brandon, are you online? Have you unmuted yourself?
Yeah, I'm online.
Oh, fantastic. How many years you working on that job, Brandon? Since you started?
So
I don't need the details of where you're
2000
working. I just need to know more or less how long, yeah.
Yeah, so since 2007, how long is that?
Okay. And are you happy in that position? Are you happy with the yeah, are you
So
happy in the
so
position?
I've grown. I have grown in the industry. I'm no longer in the position that I've started in,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow I feel that that my growth was limited. So yeah,
Okay.
that's where I'm at.
Okay. And if your interview was tomorrow for the same job, would you do anything different from what you did in 2007, which is like what, 9 years ago or whatever it is?
No, definitely I would be a bit more aggressive in with my negotiations.
I think that's the answer that we're looking for, right? And sorry, thanks for that, Brandon. Thanks for. By the way, you're the first winner for tonight, Brandon. I called you out, so we'll share the gift for today, Brandon. And yeah, thanks, Brandon. We'll be in touch. Okay.
100%. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Carry on, Fatima.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, Brendan, for being the first winner. All right, so as we go forward, understanding the job offers. So now we're going to be looking at the components of a job offer. The most critical item on your contract is your job title and your role clarity. So it is very pertinent for you to understand what is your job title and also to be given direction or a breakdown of what your roles will entail. At this stage, it is very important to have that conversation with the person who may be interviewing you or a representative of the HR to clarify to you specifically in a breakdown and as well in writing. So for you to understand what is your responsibility and your role, so you can also deliver in terms of what the requirements are. The second aspect is the salary and the benefits. Sometimes when we get advertisements for posts, it is very high level. So you would get for example, an advertisement for a position, and the salary is not reflected on the document. So when you are now having that interview, or you have been given a job offer, it's important for you to know what the amount or the salary is. And there shouldn't be any misunderstanding between the parties, which is the employer and the employee. And if you have any questions, it should be addressed at this point, because once you start the job, it will be difficult to negotiate at that point. So also this allows you in the beginning to negotiate. When it comes to benefits, also you need to discuss that with your employer in terms of what are they offering to you. Does it meet your requirements? Is it something that will impose on you, or will it affect you? Sometimes even something that may be positive can also impact your livelihood in a different way. So it's very important to understand what are the benefits and how, if it is going to impact you negatively in any way. So as we move on to the next point, which is the contract type. So you get different types of contracts, which is your permanent in these, and then you get your fixed term, and then you get a contract. I'm just going to go through each one of these different types of contracts. The permanent type would be that you will be an employee with no end date. So you will have the start date stipulated, but you would not have an end date because you would be recognized as a permanent employee of that business. For a fixed term, it would state the starting of your job and the end date, which has to be stipulated in that contract. The last one could be a contract base, meaning it could be regarding or related to a particular project. So it could not have a time frame. However, it could be based on a particular project. So it's very important for you as an individual to understand under which category your contract type is. The next item of the components of a job offer is your working hours. That is very important because different organizations have different working times. And according to your Employment Act, there are particular times that the organization need to meet so that they could be, so that they meet the Employment Act. So the working hours does change for different organizations. However, it has to meet the Basic Employment Act. So you as the individual need to understand what time do you start, what time is your lunch break, and what time do you end. And also do a rough calculation to ensure that you actually meet the working hours stipulated and required by the Employment Act. Another factor is your location. Some organizations allow the employees to work remotely, and some of them also have the hybrid facility. So you need to make it clear that you understand where are you able to work or where you're allowed to work, whether and what are the requirements for you to come to the office. It could be that 3 days a week you have to come, it's compulsory to come to work, and 2 days you can work from home. So it's very important in terms of your location to understand what is the setup of the organization. Also, some organizations have head office in different areas. So you could be based here in Durban, but the head office could be in Cape Town. And so what are the requirements? Are you required to go to the head office in Cape Town maybe once a month? Is that a requirement? You need to understand that in the job offer so that it does not affect your life, as well as that you can deliver and be able to work from to go and meet them at head office once a month, say once a month. So that's why it's important to understand the location of where you are going to be situated or working from. The next aspect is the probation period. So different organizations have different probation periods, and that will be stipulated. Some organizations have 1 month probation period. Other organizations have 3 months. So you as an individual need to understand what is the probation period, number one, and number two, are there certain performance criterias that you need to meet within this probation period so that you can carry on working as an employee. So it's very, very critical to firstly understand the probation period, number one, and number two, if there are any possible performance criteria that you have to meet so that you could continue. And the other aspect is there any assessment? Some organization would maybe after the probation period request an assessment to see if you are suitable for that job or if you are meet the expectations of the organization to deliver the task. So therefore, it's very important to understand this aspect. All right. The next topic that I would like to talk is the total compensation. So besides the salary, there are certain aspects that are given by the employer as benefits. So I'm just going to discuss different benefits that the organization can offer you. Sometimes the organizations can offer you multiple benefits, or sometimes they can even offer you certain one or two from this list. So let's go through to the next one. Let's go through these items. Your medical aid or your insurance. From this aspect, we all understand that there are different medical aids that are in the market at the moment. So you would need to know whether the organization is if you have to fall under their medical aid scheme, or will they pay for your current medical aid scheme? So this is an important aspect for you to look at, and also whether you have other members in your medical aid, and will the company pay? Sometimes organizations even go and have percentage payouts, meaning if for a particular medical aid scheme, they would pay 60% and you will have to pay 40%. Same would be for the insurance. So this would be in your contract, and it will stipulate how the medical aid option will actually work. The next one is your performance bonus. So not all organization offers performance bonuses, and also it's not a compulsory aspect for an employer to give to their staff. Having said that, your performance bonus is sometimes also not stipulated in your contract. It could be because it's actually on what the employer, if they want to actually give you a performance bonus. But if it is in the contract, it's a good question. If it's not in a contract, it's a good question for you to ask in your interview. Or you could also, and if it is in your contract, unpack what is the requirements or the criterias to qualify for a performance bonus, so that it also allows you as an individual to make sure, and as an incentive to actually work towards the performance bonus. And if there are certain aspects where you have to upskill yourself in order to receive that performance bonus, this allows you that opportunity. The next point is the Provident Fund. So with the Provident Fund, it's also not a compulsory benefit. However, as an incentive, some companies offer a Provident Fund. You would need to understand what percentage is the organization going to offer you. Is it a 7%? Is it going to be an 8%? And also the fact that is it going to be cost to company? So that would be your Provident Fund. Another aspect to inquire about when it comes to the Provident Fund is which investment is the organization going to be investing your money in? So that is a good question. If sometimes you would like to know also as well as what fund the employer is going to be putting your money in. The next aspect is your travel, housing, or study allowance. So remember, everyone, these aspects are not compulsory for everyone. So I'm just giving you a understanding of the different incentives that could be in your contract. For your travel, sometimes organization gives you a percentage or an amount based on the kilometers that you traveled. So you need to understand what is the offering by the employer. The housing, when it comes to housing, the subsidy, you need to understand what are they offering. Also, if you need to relocate, will that cover your housing or your stay? Or what percentage are they going to offer? Is it a 50% that they are going to pay and a 50% that you are going to pay? So you need to understand whether that housing subsidy is sufficient for you. As well, if you have any family members, is that going to be sufficient for you to also relocate your family for your housing purposes? The next aspect is your study allowance. In terms of your study allowance, sometimes this aspect is also very an item that you need to look at, because after some organizations, they have a contract in place where if they offer you a study allowance, they will expect you to also work for them for a period of time. For example, if they give you pay for your studies, they would give you stipulate that for 2 years you will have to work, and if you leave within that time, you will have to repay the study allowance. So you have to clarify what is the basis of the study allowance, and also whether the study allowance, is it for an undergraduate, or is it for your master's or your PhD, or, in terms of what the study allowance will cover. The next aspect is your hybrid or your remote flexibility. So we all know that a lot of organizations allow for the hybrid and remote flexibility, but you as an employee, you need to understand what are the offerings to you. And also if you can be able to work within that time. As I mentioned before, if it's like compulsory that you have to come to the office 3 times a day, 3 times a week, sorry, apologies, 3 times a week, or you have to submit reports in terms of when you are working remotely. So you need to understand what sort of hybrid system is working in that organization. All right, so as we move forward, we come to the employment contract essentials.
Fatima, maybe open up for 2 or 3 questions or comments or queries, if that's okay.
Sure. No, that's fine.
Anyone wants to come through? Feedback, comment, anyone? Concerns? There's something on the screen, Fatima. Probation period. How do you navigate this period? If this is a company standard, how can one navigate around it? For example, the standard is 6 months and my preference is 3 months. Is it possible?
All right. So a very good question there, Ruben Pillay. So I think there are certain policies from the organization that they have already implemented. And if it is their policy, then unfortunately, it may be challenging for you to actually negotiate that. Um, they probably have different probation periods due to the extent of the work or in terms of the caliber of the work. So if it is that, then I think you'd probably have to inquire from the HR if there is a possibility to negotiate. But it may, as I said, if it comes from a policy point of view, you may have some challenge. I hope that answers your question.
Let me try also, Fatima. So sometimes a probation period isn't, no, yeah, let me put it nicely. A probation period can sometimes be an advantage for you as an employee because it's also a way of figuring out culture of the organization. You don't want to be tied down into something. Okay. The only the negative I see of a probation period, typically, and Fatima, you can correct me if I'm mistaken, is you may not get all the benefits of a full-time employee. Okay, but as a beginning, the basic salary is the same, and when you move from probation to full-time, usually your salary will remain the same. They have a fixed period in the year when the salary is adjusted, etc., etc. So there's no disadvantage at the basic level for a probation period. Like I said, you may not have the benefits, i.e., medical aid and this and this and this. And again, it's company to company. All right. So, so that's not always a bad thing. Um, and really, for me, I think the main advantage is about culture. We hire so many people on a daily basis or in a year, and they're not the right fit. On paper, they may be the right fit, i.e., you as an employee. Similarly, the company that you're looking to employ, that you're applying to, on television, on radio, look like the perfect employer. And then once you get in, you get a culture shock, or the person, you get a terrible manager, a toxic manager. So there is an exit way out for you within that period as well. But you get all the rights of an employee except for the financial benefits. So you get all the rights of an employee in the sense that you can report, you can ask for leave, all of those other things that come with it. Thanks, Fatima. Ruben, congratulations as well on you.
Yes, thank you, Hussein. I think the comment also came from Temba Magwara. Study allowance is always tricky. Yes, definitely. And it's always nice to ask the questions so that you know what to expect. All right, let's move forward. All right. In terms of your employment contract essentials, there are certain key aspects or sections that you need to always check. Amongst this is your job responsibility and key performance indicators. So your job responsibilities would be highlighted in your contract, or sometimes it's not. I stand to, you get different employers who have different aspects in their contract. It may not necessarily be in your contract, as it may have all high level stuff, but it's important for you, if it's not there, to also get a job description for what are your responsibilities, and so you will understand what you need to deliver. And key performance indicators that would also ensure and allow you to meet the criteria of the organizations. Some key performance indicators, if it is too high level or it has too many numeracies, then you will have to ask those questions so that you totally understand. You can ask them what systems do they use. Different organizations use Patterson system. There's many different KPIs. So you can ask them that questions and also ask them how does the point system work, so that you can work towards meeting those criterias to ensure that you safeguard your employment. The next one is the contract duration and probation terms. So I think it's good we had that conversation now on the probation terms so that you better understand that. And the contract duration, as I mentioned earlier on, it's whether it's the fixed, whether it's permanent, or whether it's contract, it needs to be stipulated on the contract. The next point is a notice period and termination conditions. We may take this lightly, but only when we are exiting the job, then we find out the clauses that have been involved. Some companies have notice periods of 1 month, and others for key role players can go up to 3 months. So it's very important that you understand what are your termination conditions, because when there is an instance where you have a better job offer, number one, or you are unhappy in the current situation, you need to know what is your termination conditions. Also, some organization, some of the clause is that if you leave the organization, you may lose out on benefits, and also you need to pay back. Like, for example, your study allowance, if you were supposed to be there for work 3 months, 3 years after given the job allowance, the study allowance, and if you terminate within a year, how does that impact you in terms of now that you have to repay them? So I think this is also a very important aspect that you need to look into. The next item is confidentiality and non-disclosure clauses. So a lot of people have.
Sorry, Fatima. Sorry,
Yes.
Fatima. There's a hands up
Sorry, yeah.
that hands up from Temba, and also a comment from somebody there. So maybe let's do the comment first, and then we can go back to Temba. Temba, please unmute yourself and try and talk. Temba, can you unmute yourself? Let me just quickly see if he's unmuted. Yeah, carry on, Temba. You on? Try and say something. No. Okay, sorry about that. Temba, if you got a problem with your mic, maybe you should type in your answer, type in your question, but we can't hear you, Temba.
Okay, by the time we're waiting for Temba, let's go to Monhlanhla Malebo. They've got a question there. Is it appropriate to request a salary review when job responsibilities increase, even if the job title remains the same?
Mm.
Yes, so I think that's a good question there. I think in every organization, it allows you the opportunity to engage with your manager as well as your HR. But you first need to understand what is your level of authority. Different organizations work differently, so you need to understand what is the policy of that organization. So, yes, if the organization, so you read the policy and then you reach out to your higher level of your authority first, depending on the policy, could be your line manager, and you discuss with them first. Sometimes it's not appropriate to go straight to HR. That's your human resource department. Engage with your manager, talk to them, tell them this is the situation. The job responsibilities have increased. Am I? Is there a possibility for me to get a salary review? And they are obligated to guide you. So they need to advise you to say, yes or no, and what is the procedure. Once they provide you with that, and whether then you can act on it. So they will advise you whether it's um, a written procedure that you have to follow, where you would have to manually write out a salary review request, or it could be that you have a conversation with HR. But yes, Monhlanhla Malebo, I think there are options for that salary review. I hope that answers your question.
Thank
There's
you.
another one. You want to add in there, Hussein?
No, you can carry on.
Okay. The next one is from Temba. I think he typed in. He's got there. My question is, what is going to happen if I'm out of sick leave days and it happens I get sick? So this time you would have to also go back to the procedure document or the policy document of that organization. It is stipulated how many sick days that you are allowed. Then we need to understand that we also have annual leave. So you need to also discuss with your line manager, because what is allowed, what is the policy? And if you did get sick, sometimes it goes as unpaid leave. And unfortunately, if it's part of the policy, then you cannot negotiate. However, if it is something that you can discuss with your line manager or with your HR, then they would further guide you. But it all depends on what is on the policy of the organization. Do you want to add anything there, Hussein? Are you happy?
No, that's fine. Move on. Thank you.
All right. So the next one is what qualifies as special leave? So I think this would also depend on the organization, but some of the examples of a special leave would be for like when a father, usually you get maternity leave. Another form of special leave would be paternity leave. So you need to just look into what falls within that organization in terms of your special leave. Another one would be for your auspicious days. You need to inquire whether they would give you, or would that fall under special leave for a day, or for a religious auspicious leave. So there's different aspects there, but you would have to inquire from the organization.
Yeah, and Fatima, I don't know if I remember reading recently, I think South Africa just passed legislation that fathers can take paternity, yeah, it's called a paternity leave, né? Father,
Paternity.
as long as the mother, I think 3 months or 6 months. I think it's a new legislation. It just
Wow.
came into action, into act recently, like 2-3 weeks ago. something along that line. I stand corrected, but something along that line. Yeah.
Sure. I think all the ladies are going to be dancing the happy dance for that one, as they got extra hands and legs there to support them now. All right. Okay. So I think we've attended to those questions. We're going to move on now. All right.
Sharing your screen. Share your screen.
Yeah. Just going to get that here.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is negotiating professionally. Now we're going to address when and how to negotiate. So the first thing is you will negotiate only after receiving the offer. This will occur once you have a written offer given by the employer. So this will give you all the details that you require, and also after liaising with the HR to clarify on issues that you are unsure of, and you are now satisfied with the contract. At this level, now you are in a position to actually negotiate. So the next aspect will be, this is just general sort of aspects on how to approach this. And a good thing is to always express appreciation first. I think it's a good nature to actually first express how, your appreciation for this offer, because as we know that we are at this stage in our country facing such a high unemployment rate. So actually to get the offer is firstly a very, very good, it's a good thing. So just express your appreciation. Another aspect is use market research evidence. So sometimes we may not know what is the market at the moment. So it's very good to research. And the good thing that we are in a good technology based world where we have so many platforms where we can inquire. If you need to go and speak to people that are also working in similar positions to understand what is the going rate, because you don't want to be exploited. Because now you are excited. You
comments. Yeah,
Hussein, does somebody want to make a comment there?
No, I've muted them again, so they must have made an accident error. Carry on.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, it's important to sort of reach out to people that are in the similar job positions and inquire from them. Some may not be brave enough to give you all the information, but if it is a close friend, you can speak to them, or you could also look at other platforms to understand if your offer is market related. Also in terms of your work requirements, is it something that you have capacity to actually fulfill? Is it something doable? If it's too many job requirements and based on the time frame, then you need to also raise that. So it's important to do research, inquire, ask people to give you more insight on jobs or similar jobs. The next point is to be confident, yes, yet respectful. So it's because you are now at this stage building a relationship with your employer, and they always say first impressions last. So you need to come across that you know what you are saying, and be confident about it, but yet don't be arrogant, because employers, sorry, they do not appreciate people that are arrogant, and because often you have to work in teams. So they are also observing your response and how you approach things. So you can come across as confident, but do it in a respectful manner, and do not come across as being arrogant or like a know-it-all, and be rude. The next aspect is what can be negotiated. So when we look at the contract, you get different aspects that will require you to go back and reflect and unpack. So your salary and your total package, you need to go through each aspect within the amount that is offered to you to see whether it is what's your gross salary, what's your net salary, what is your basic salary, what are your incentives, what is going to be offered to you. You need to quantify that. Also, you get different aspects, like sometimes you get cost to company, and sometimes you get your basic salary. So all those things you need to inquire about, because sometimes you also need to see if it actually meets your pocket, and also because you are using it to actually earn an income. So if your net, your gross salary, and you're at the end of the month, when what is coming to you, so you would get many total salary provided by the employer, and then you will get your different aspects, your incentives and what they're taking out, your medical aid, your provident. And then if they, for example, if it's 10,000 Rand on the high amount that is offered in your contract, but once you take out all the perks and incentives and the contributions by the employer, you're sitting with only 4,000 Rand that is now coming in your bank account. And so are you able to, is that amount enough for you to live your day-to-day expenditures? So it's very important to understand what is the cost to company and what you as an employee is coming out at the end of the month. Another aspect that can be negotiated is your joining date. So sometimes because of notice periods, if you are currently employed in one firm and you are looking to join another organization, you need to understand and you need to take that into consideration, because that the new organization may need somebody to join as soon as possible. And you in your current job, you have to give 3 months notice period. So you need to know when is the joining date. And it is, if it's something that is going to impact the offer, and also how I went for you to give your notice period. You need to know when is the actual joining date. And also maybe if they are happy with you and they want you to join, are they able to wait for that 3 months? So you need to understand that. The next one for the hybrid remote option. So as I said, there's a culture at the moment for hybrid option, but you need to know if is it compulsory, which days that you need to go to the office, which days it's compulsory for you to attend meetings face to face. The remote, also, what are the criterias? Do you have to submit timesheets? So this aspect, you have to negotiate, you are allowed to negotiate. depending if it's not in their policy. As I mentioned before, if a company, it's up to them to actually have their own policy and procedures mandated within their organization. So if it's something that's already mandated, it may be a bit challenging for you to negotiate it. However, if they are if they are flexible, you may be able to negotiate. The next aspect is your study sponsorship and growth opportunities. So it is important, as I mentioned earlier on as well, is to understand what are the criteria when they give you the study allowance. Is it that they require to sign on a contract for a further 2 years and that you have to pay back if you leave? Or you could even tell them that you want to study further. Do they offer study sponsorship towards a master's or a PhD? You can ask them that. In terms of your growth opportunities, you can also inquire from them. What do they have any growth plans in place for their employees? In terms of what is the policy as well? Are you required to stay in an organization for a minimum of 2 years before you are offered a growth opportunity? So these things are not sometimes clearly stipulated in your contract, but they are questions that are very pertinent that you need to ask them because it could impact your professional growth. So I just given a professional negotiating script. An example would be, thank you for the offer, but based on the industry standards and qualification, I was hoping we could review the package, particularly the starting salary. So here in this script, you can see that number one, you appreciate the offer received. Number two, you have done your market research. And number three, you are requesting a salary review in a respectful, confident manner. Before I move forward, Hussein, is there any comments or let me just
there's
here.
there's two or three. One is how do I negotiate a better hike in a salary when HR gives a budget and salary band excuses? Well, I think Fatima answered that. You give to you in the best way, and you don't have control of that. You're sort of guessing what their salary band is and excuses in inverted commas. So it may be legitimate. Oftentimes it's not, but the powers that be make that decision. Now, other one, negotiating when you're desperate for the job is another problem because you may lose what you have on the table than what you don't have, and you get to be careful about negotiating. Yeah, so a lot of negotiation is about EQ, right? EQ, anyone who wants to guess EQ? Somebody unmute EQ. Come on, guys. Fatima, help us out here. EQ.
Emotional quotient.
Hey?
Emotional
Emotional quotient, yeah. You need to have that kind of it's the opposite of IQ. Help me out, Fatima, at 6:30
Yes.
at night.
It's got to do with emotional intelligence.
It's that's the word I was looking for. Emotional intelligence. You have to be able to read the room. You have to be able to read the space. Okay. And based on that, that's how you would do it. And of course, if you can negotiate hard and still respectful, and I think maybe that's where the trick is, right? So don't not negotiate. Fatima, in 3 minutes we've got before we finish up. Let me just tell you something. These guys are all third-year students. They're probably going to complete. They're going to qualify. They got exams starting next week, and they're going to have their graduation. Yippee to all of you's graduation in 2026, or good luck to you for that. And annually we do a survey of all graduates, and what we pick up in our normal surveys of graduates, we pick up 2 or 3 things. One is people don't know how to negotiate. Now, negotiation isn't fighting. It's a very systematic way of asking. And you know, sort of, yeah, negotiation in itself means that, right? But it's not about fighting, right? Number one. Number two is people are shy to ask for a better salary, or more information or more detail. Number three is we found that women in particular are less likely to ask for, less likely to negotiate versus men. Now, I know patriarchal society, blah, blah, blah. I know all of that story. But some interesting facts came out from our figures for the past 5 years of surveying. But these 2 or 3 are sort of the key ones. And the other one is the question Fatima asked right at the front, is about, do you negotiate? Why don't you negotiate? And it's usually, well, it's a fixed term package. They don't offer you that option. I can't take it. But if I'm on 6% battery, I may get cut off. And I'm just going to announce 2 winners. And if I get cut off, you can continue with the rest, right, Fatima?
Okay.
Right. I just want to post one more thing if I can. Guys, please visit our employability site. It's very important that you do that. I'm going to post it now, employability.regent.ac.za. There's 2 or 3 tools that you are accessible for free at no cost to you. Look for the CV writer. It's free. And look for the interview simulator. It's free. Okay. It will give you practice on how to do interviews. It's with an AI tool, and you can do it as many times as you want to help you sharpen your what you call it tools. Fatima, I'm literally on 1% battery. Please go ahead and continue. Wish we could have meetings like this too. Benele, I wish we could do that as well. And for saying that, I'm going to give you a prize as well, Benele. So another winner, and that's the last winner for an hey, I got one more. Last winner.
Rabika Parker is also there.
Rabia also said last winner. Okay.
So we've given all the prizes.
I've given prizes. I've given more prizes. I'm in trouble tomorrow. I have to pay from my pocket for all of these prizes. Right? Rabia, here's a prize for you as well. And I'm signing off for this evening. I wish we could have more of these. By the way, guys, if you've missed past webinars, we've had 4 webinars for the year. This is the 4th one for BCom, for year 3 students. The other 3 webinars, the recordings of it is on the employability site, and you'll find it there. It's easy to navigate. Go and catch the other webinars that you may have missed for the rest of the year. Fatima, sorry, I really need to leave. I'm flat with my battery. But you continue until the next minute or 2, and we can conclude after that, right?
We're almost completed, so
okay,
it's not going to take any more longer.
Thank you.
All right.
No more prizes. All prizes are finished. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hussein. I think we are very grateful for that. All right, just closing, finalizing the offer, what to do before signing. As I mentioned, request a clarification in writing. Sometimes what happens is people will say one thing, and when we do accept the job offer, we realize that they did not live up to what they were said. So it's very important to actually get that clarification in writing and request that. The next point is confirm your final terms via email. So after you read your contract, after you have asked your questions, and after you have negotiated on certain aspects, you need to get an email now to get the final terms in writing, because it could be in a position where the initial contract was done and the negotiation part, or what was negotiated, was not documented. So then it will put you as a disadvantage, because 3 years down the line, you are now saying that I asked the question and I negotiated and it's not on my agreement. So therefore, the final terms needs to be via email, and you need to also sign. You need to sign on it, and also the representative from the employment needs to also sign so that they also are witness to what has been negotiated. The next point is to ask your HR contact for their contact details for future queries, and also to ask them what is the policy in terms of the employment. So, for example, who do you ask or inquire from? For somebody asked a question in terms of your salary increase or salary review. So you need to understand what is the policy. So do you report to your line manager? Are you able to go directly to HR? So that aspect is is one of the items that you have to know. Read it, read the contract, understand exactly what it is, and also don't make a haste decision. Yes, I do understand we all need a job, and it's better something that you have than not having anything. But I think review it, take some time to actually understand, because it could be also put you in a worse off position. You never know. So you have to review it, think about it, sleep on it if you need to, and understand before you actually accept. Then we go to the next part, which is the accepting or declining of the contract. I think, as I mentioned earlier on, it's good to have that short appreciation, or give them an appreciation for offering you this opportunity. Whether it's an accepting or whether you decline, a short appreciation will be well received by the organization. This goes without saying, but if it meets your requirements and you are accepting it, it's nice to actually show them how grateful you are to this opportunity. And as I said before, it's first impressions that actually last. And most organizations, they like to see employees that are optimistic, who are team players, who come out across with good personality type, and they are observing you, because it will be the initial phases of your relationship with them. And as I said, you keep your relationship positive with them. All right, so we have reached the end of the webinar, and I'll open it to any questions and answers the Q&A session. All right, so we have a comment here from Banela who says, I'm in management position. There's a lot that learned today that been hide to me by my company. Okay. And so I think for everybody now, you know what to look at, and you can go and question in a professional and a respectful manner. Are there any other questions? Somebody can unmute and ask a question. Okay, we've got a thank you, Huben. She says, thank you. Very insightful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Monslashle Malebo. You got a question there from D. Can salary negotiations backfire? We are in, as Mr. Hussein mentioned, you shouldn't shy away from negotiation as long as it's respectfully done and you done your homework. And there is a mannerism in which you are inquiring. So I don't think questioning people can actually backfire, because it's not something where you are being you're being rude to them. So it could be I don't think it would backfire. Yes, somebody unmuted, go ahead. Sorry, who am I can go ahead.
No,
All right, okay, that is a mistake. All right. Thank you. All right. So I don't think we have any further questions. Thank you everyone for making the time, and I hope this session was informative. And all the best for y'all's future. Thank you so much. Goodbye.